Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I am your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Hope everybody had a great trading day yesterday. Today is Thursday, February the 8th, 2018. So I guess it's, 2/8 of 2018. So we are kicking it off like we do each and every day, looking at the same 10 to 12 futures markets. And most important thing is we leave the lines on the charts so that we can see how trades are identified and change over time. So let's go ahead and get into it. Looking at the S&P 500, yesterday we had identified some areas that were a bit wider. This area way down here that we've bounced off of. Certainly, not sure how many people were able to catch that move off of that very bottom. My guess is most people did not have the stomach to step in and buy at that point, although that's exactly where it did bounce. So since it bounced there, I actually have to remove that line in the future going forward, although we may get another bounce off that area. So I'm going to keep it there actually for now. Hindsight, I'm going to change it, though, to a dashed line. And remember that a dashed line means that we wait for price to come into an area before then trading it as it then comes back out. Well, really over the last couple of days, we've still seen a fair amount of volatility, relative to what it has been in the past, right? Relative to what it's been since Tuesday, since Thursday of last week. But reality to compared to what we had earlier in the week, it's kind of slowed way down. And I think that we are still inside of this gigantic move, which shaked out, which was an overall a pretty big shakeout. So what are we staring at now, right? What does our trend look like? Yesterday at the end of the day, we had a pretty steep sell-off, and that sell-off at the end of the day, was my fear is that what we're experiencing on this move up, it could potentially be a short covering rally. And what I mean by that, for those of you that are unfamiliar with a short covering rally, it's when people go short, they sell short to open, and then they buy to cover to close that position. Well, when you buy to cover, sometimes you get a little bit of a bounce. This may have been caused by a little bit of a short covering rally coming up out of here, as there are lots of people that were happy that they were short. For every loser, there's going to be a winner out there. And so those shorts could have been covering up those and giving us this little pop up. This is just me kind of conjecturing here a little bit, but so that my point behind that is that I'm not object to finding short-term down market opportunities. We're off of the all-time high far enough that if there's a good short-term opportunity to get short, I'm okay with it. And so as I look at some of the different areas and opportunities, this one kind of just keeps popping up to me, and I'm gonna highlight it, put a line around it. Now we're on a 15-minute time period, so being a 15-minute time period, it's obviously going to be a slightly lower probability. So I'm going to change the color here to more of a purple, as I think that this could be a chance to get short if price returns to this little area right in through here. Better to see it on that slightly bigger scale. So now the other thing I like about it is that this was support before it then was broken, so it could act again as a resistance point. Once again, be cautious of understand your risk parameters, and if you're not willing, because that's a 12-point wide zone that I've identified there, and really it's 12 points because it's a little bit of two kind of stacked on top of one another. A little bit of fair price here, a drop, a little bit of fair price value area here. So you can cut that area in half if you do so deem that area is going to be a bit too wide for your risk tolerances. Now, when you got a level this wide, you need to make sure that you've got plenty of room for it to come back as it comes back out. Next, the NQ. So looking here at the Nasdaq. So on the Nasdaq, no new levels here for me to add, although I think we could get a bit of a reversal right through here. So looking at the 4-hour time period, we've got this long wick up right here. The thing that actually, though, gives me a bit more hope is all these lower wicks. Wicks tell me a lot, and those lower wicks tell me a whole bunch. And that was part of when I look at the sell-off that occurred yesterday towards the end of the day, was we had gotten some of these upper wicks as a potential signal that was unable to hold on to those highs. And being unable to hold on to the highs is a telltale sign of a little bit of a sell-off towards the end of a selling day. So just kind of keep that in mind going forward. But nothing I'm really going to add here on the Nasdaq. Crude oil. Let's talk crude oil. So crude, we have come into this area. We've come into this 61.16, 60.77 potential for a long. I will tell you. You have to be okay with the fact that we've got a lot of chopping around this spot. Now, looking at this on the daily time period, this might not be the best opportunity to get in. It wasn't. It didn't have the best. Excuse me. It didn't have the best of arrivals into there by basing around before getting into that level. And that little chop around before getting in really weakens the potential move. So use your own judgment on what you feel is best for your particular account and your risk tolerance. But I would oftentimes use the pattern that was formed here. I mean, this is a classic bearish pattern, right? Now, we were unable to hold on to those lows, which we have those lower wicks, but that's a classic, bearish continuation pattern, but it's coming right into a buy zone. So I don't know that I would be really comfortable taking either one of those trades right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to if you're not in that thing, if you're not in that trade, you might want to just hold off and let it kind of simmer down and settle in. What you could do is change the style. Instead of getting in, right now, because I'm sure some of you won't watch this thing, as soon as I post it. Maybe wait and see for it to come halfway in and then get long as it comes back out if you want to do more of a confirmation style on that entry. Gold. So gold, we have not quite yet made it down to our 1,300 potential buying area. So we'll see if it comes into that zone at some point today. Not sure if it's going to get that low today or not, but we are seeing gold falling off just a bit as well. In our bond markets, taking a look at here, maximize this, make it a bit bigger. We are definitely in another potential breakdown opportunity in the bonds. I see that we got a little bit of a lower wick on this today. This is a classic kind of breakdown pattern where I've got lower swing highs, the same swing lows, been hit a number of times, and then also it looks pretty weak on the daily charts as well. So if you want to get back involved on these bond trades, now we only had that rally on those couple of days. If you want to take a look and get back involved in the potential short on the bonds, you might have to go to like a 15-minute time period and then get short as it rallies back up to an area right up in here, something like this. This is a fair price value area where we had pretty much an equal amount of people that thought it was going to go up and people thought it was going to go down. And so there's probably still some more people that want to sell it, but they don't want to sell it down here. They want to wait for it to come up to here. So that could be an opportunity going in the future. Looking at the Aussie and the Euro and the Canadian, they're all coming close, as you can see, to our areas. So I don't want to spend too much time on those. If you guys have been watching this thing every day, I've analyzed those pretty much each day. There's nothing new that I've wanted to add. I will say, look at how we arrive into these areas to see if you still want to take it when we do indeed get there. Make sure that there's plenty of profit margin involved before getting in. Same thing's going to go for our Great British Pound and our Japanese Yen positions as well. They are just kind of hovering in between. It's amazing how the currencies in this whole market movement just kind of stood back and said, we're just going to wait a little bit. And that was as it didn't have the same volatility as the equity markets did. So that being said, there's our opportunities for the day. If you think that you may get a little bit of a reversal right here on the British pound, there's this tiny little region right there. where we could get a slight reversal on the Great British Pound as well. It's not near our current price, but something to consider. We could also get a potential breakdown out of this area here. We've got a rally up here in the last hour, but we could get a potential breakdown from here. I was looking at this yesterday as a potential breakdown area. So just keep that in mind as well, kind of going forward. So that being said, I hope everybody has a great trading day. If there's something I can do for you, please do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you so much for joining us on today's video. And if you like a video, do me a favor, leave something in the comments below, share it, subscribe it, share it with your friends, share it with your neighbors, and we will talk to you soon. See ya.